Today we're looking at two competing compact crossovers, the Jeep Cherokee and the Mazda CX-5. We'll take a quick trip through each one's evolution. Plus, we'll see which model years to consider and which to avoid if you're looking to buy used. So hop in and let's go for a ride. The Cherokee is a line of SUVs made by Jeep for the last 5 generations and counting. The name behind this vehicle was inspired by one of the largest Native American tribes, the Cherokee Indians. Jeep has been using this nameplate since the car was released. That was in 1974. That was the same year the term SUV first appeared in the advertising brochure for the Cherokee. Earlier this year, Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr., head of the Cherokee Nation, respectfully requested that Jeep change the name of the vehicle. He acknowledged that putting the name on the side of the car may have been well intended, but it didn't honor his people, but rather diminished what it meant to be a Cherokee. Jeep's CEO, Christian Munier, responded in a recent podcast that discussions were friendly, respectful, and ongoing. Nevertheless, it's unclear if Jeep will change the name. Initially, when it was debuted, it was larger. In fact, it was a full-size SUV and began as a variant of the Jeep Wagoneer. It's one of the iconic designs done by Clifford Brooks Stevens. He was an American industrial designer who defined America's industrial and automotive landscape. He designed a variety of popular home and kitchen appliances as well as cars and motorcycles. Clifford is also recognized for coining the phrase planned obsolescence. Today, many people associate this concept with how manufacturers artificially shorten the life cycle of a product by managing the quality so that consumers will buy a future generation at a later time. After all, if a product is perfect and lasts forever, it means the manufacturer would only sell to you once in your lifetime and would never need to replace it. But for Clifford, it meant something different. For him, it was a design philosophy to convince consumers to own something a little newer, a little better, a little sooner than is necessary. It wasn't about making an inferior product. It was about ensuring each successive generation was better. For example, perceived obsolescence is something that, in principle, comes from our subconscious. Clifford believed that manufacturers should appeal to the consumer's constant desire for newer things. For example, let's say you have the latest smartphone, but in a few months a new model gets released. It has an even better camera and other updated features that are the best ever. It doesn't mean your existing smartphone went bad, but boy are you enticed. It's human tendency to lose appreciation for what we have. For them, it means a steady cash flow. You rarely see dramatic technology changes year or year. Bigger rechanges usually happen between generations of cars. Another type of planned obsolescence is contrived or conceived durability. It's a strategy that involves shortening the lifespan of a product by designing it in such a way it will eventually fail at a projected time. Some manufacturers implement this by choosing substandard materials rather than the best materials. This leads to planned wear and tear. Here's an example. Did you know that screws are made of soft metal and cheap plastic instead of hard metal and stress-bearing components? These will likely increase the rate of product failure under normal use and make it prone to damage, even with minor misuse. This deliberately shortens the lifespan of a product, so the consumer will eventually need to buy another one to replace it. Contrived durability isn't prohibited by law. Manufacturers have the right to set the degree of durability of their products. But here's a thought. If planned obsolescence didn't exist, how long do you suppose you could drive your favorite car? Well, let's get back to the Jeep Cherokee. The first generation Cherokee was a rebadged version of a 2-door Jeep Wagoneer. Marketed as sports utility vehicle, the Cherokee's rear pillar had been replaced by a much wider D-pillar and one long fixed rear side window with an additional flip-out section. In those early years, the Cherokee replaced the Jeepster Commando. To attract younger consumers, the Cherokee was marketed as sporty, 2-door station wagon with excellent off-road qualities. It came with various trims, and a 4-door version was added to the lineup in 1977. The second generation Cherokee remains famous for its design. Consumers found it more appealing than ordinary cars and even station wagons. The Cherokee would be a critical link leading to the evolution of the SUV category. The second generation was so successful, the Cherokee launched a new lineup, the larger Jeep Grand Cherokee, which would go on to become its flagship Jeep. America was introduced to the Cherokee as a compact SUV, but with the third generation Cherokee. It was marketed in North America as Jeep Liberty to differentiate it from the Grand Cherokee. This was the first Jeep to use rack and pinion steering, and it was also the first Jeep to use Chrysler's new engine, the PowerTech. With this generation of Cherokee, the Jeep Liberty remained the smallest Jeep's 4-door SUVs until 2007, when America got introduced to its 4-door crossovers, the Compass and the Patriot. The fourth generation Cherokee was an updated Liberty with side airbag. Drivetrain remained the same, but now a 6-speed manual or 4-speed automatic tranny was now offered, mated to a V6 engine. The inline 4 was discontinued. The common rail injection system was also canceled because the diesel-based Liberty could no longer meet the tougher emission standards of 2007. The fifth generation brought back the Cherokee nameplate on Jeep cars in North America. It grew to a midsize. Cherokee was the first Jeep to use the Fiat compact wide platform, which was jointly developed by Chrysler and Fiat. It was available with 3 different all-wheel drive systems: Active Drive 1, Active Drive 2, and Active Drive Lock. All of these systems came equipped with Jeep Select Train traction control with a rear axle disconnect feature, which was a first for a compact SUV. It also allowed the Cherokee's rear axle to disconnect when the all-wheel drive wasn't needed. It also reduced something called parasitic load on the transmission. Basically, it reduced the amount of power that was consumed even when a vehicle was shut off. This innovation improved overall fuel efficiency in the Cherokee. This generation was the first to market the ZF 9-speed automatic transmission. But now let's look at one of its competitors, which is the Mazda CX-5. This is a younger vehicle, and it's only been around since 2012. At its concept stage, Mazda wanted a vehicle that would offer improved fuel efficiency and driving performance while reducing emissions. You could say they hit a home run today because CX-5 sales outperform all other Mazda models in the United States. The CX-5 was also the first Mazda car ever to be equipped with Sky Active technology. This dramatically improved fuel efficiency without compromising performance. Did you know that the conventional internal combustion engine is only able to use about 30% of the fuel's potential energy? That's because the typical compression ratio is usually between 8-to-1 and 12-to-1. It's not as efficient as many may think. That's why Mazda engineers developed a smarter engine. It has a higher compression ratio, 14-to-1 in fact, and therefore higher combustion efficiency, which results in better fuel efficiency. The Sky Active range includes Sky Active G. This technology combines the performance of a gasoline engine with the fuel economy, torque, and agility of a diesel engine. And that's how the American version of the CX-5 debuted in November 2012. Initially, the only engine available was the Skyactiv G direct injection 2-liter inline 4 with 155 horsepower. In the year the CX-5 was released in the United States, Mazda teamed up with Universal Pictures to launch a Skyactiv commercial featuring Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. In the ad, the Mazda CX-5 is awarded the Truffula Tree seal of approval because of its fuel efficiency rating. It was a cross promotion of sorts, but it ended up being controversial. Some called it a PR nightmare. Mazda launched the second generation with the 2017 CX-5. It featured an updated design and new technology. That year, Mazda offered a CX-9's engine and a CX-5 as an option. We're talking about a 2.5-liter Skyactiv G turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that output 250 horsepower. The 2022 Mazda CX-5 hasn't changed much, except it's no longer possible to order a front-wheel drive. Each version now comes standard with all-wheel drive. The naturally aspirated 2.5-liter inline 4 outputs 187 horsepower, and the turbocharged version outputs 250 horsepower. Mazda also added new seats for improved comfort, newly designed bumpers with new head and rear lights, a new Mazda Intelligent Drive, Drive system, wireless charging, and a revised suspension for a smoother ride and a quieter cabin. In my opinion, the revamped design makes the CX-5 more elegant than before. If you're looking for a used Mazda CX-5, overall the car has high reliability rating, usually scoring between 4 and 5 out of 5. But there are a few complaints you could be aware of. Most of them apply to the 2015 and 2016 model. The 2015 CX-5 received the most complaints, mainly around the windshield. It has been known to easily crack, even from the slightest impact, requiring windshield replacement. Since some of the sensors are built into the glass, you'll need to shell out extra money for original equipment manufacturer OEM parts as well. The 2016 model has the same issue with the windshield. Repair costs for something like this can be between $500 and $1,000 if you don't have insurance. In addition, the 2016 model had problems with the daytime running lights, or DRLs. They're designed to last the entire life of the car. But for some reason, many in the 2016 models were reported to go out before the car reached 21,000 miles. The thing with DRLs is you can't just replace one light bulb like you could with a standard light system. With DRLs, the lamp and the casing are connected together, so in order to change the light bulb, you need to change the entire burnout block. It can easily set you back $1,000 to install the new light. As you can see, these are types of things that make repairs more expensive. One of the best used CX-5s is the 2014 model, as well as 2018 and 2019 model. There were extremely few complaints about those model years, so overall, it should be a good bet. And now let's talk about used Jeep Cherokees. The worst models include the 2014 and 2015 model. The most common problem was with the ZF 9-speed automatic transmission. It featured an unconventional design that reduced the size and improved fuel economy over traditional transmissions. But it's also more complex and more prone to problems. Common malfunction involved a constantly failing control sensor. This led to accidental switching of the gears to neutral while you were driving. Owners who experienced this issue said it occurred around 21,000 miles on average. If you want a good used Cherokee, then you might want to consider the 2018 model. Although the Cherokee rarely scores more than 50% in terms of reliability, this model is considered the best year in the lineup. But if you're looking at older cars, in this case, the models from 1995 to 1998 may be your priority. But be cautious with the 1991 to 2001 models. But now you tell me, which of the two compact crossovers do you like more? The power and cross-country capable Jeep Cherokee or the elegant, economic Mazda CX-5? Please comment below and share your opinion. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for your support.